Well, hello everyone. This is Ron, and I'm back with you with another episode of Empire Coins and Collectibles. I hope everybody's doing well. We've gone and done some research. We've looked for collections. We've been very, very busy, and we hope to share some of that with you. By the way, you have been sharing with us. There's been several questions in the comments about what books do we use. And I'm kind of surrounded by books. I have books that are of interest to me. Some of them are dealing with the collectibles that I actually delve into, like coins and stamps and things of that nature. As a matter of fact, I think over my right shoulder here, you'll see that some of the books are tilted to the side. I've removed some of those books to kind of share with you and let you know what I use when I do a lot of my research. But before we get into all that, I also have a coin to share with you. And that's going to be kind of an interesting one. We'll give you an example of what the book says about the type of error it is. But if you could, before we get started with any and all of that, if you could like, share, and subscribe, that will help us immensely grow our channel. Okay, so why don't we go ahead and get started? I'd set up a couple of cameras, but I think this camera right here is probably going to be sufficient for the need in terms of sharing the books. Now, this is one of the first books that I would recommend to you. Notice mine is 2017 down here. The years, the only thing that matters about the year of issue is if you're getting the latest look as to what the mint has issued and the quantity of issue, and perhaps some of the later discoveries in terms of varieties and errors. But this will have up to the year that it's posted here, the number of issues per coin. We're talking about pennies, dimes, quarters, nickels, special issues, things of that nature. And it has pretty good information in here. It talks a little bit about condition of the coins. It talks about colonial coins as well. It's just a lot of just very interesting articles. And if you have not read anything about conditions and how to assess the value of the coin, condition is just about everything, of course, along with the rarity. But you can get this book, a lot of good reading in it, besides looking up the types of coins that you might be interested in collecting or you might be wanting to find more about, right? And again, it covers everything from colonial issue all the way up to current and special mint issues. There's an adjacent book to that I'm going to save for last because we're going to use that with the current era that we're going to be talking about once I get through the books. Now, of course, there are other special types of books. Not everybody is interested in current issues. There are older books that get into early American cents. And these books, let me back it off a little bit so you can see it in its entirety. These books are special books that are talking about, colonial issues, discoveries here in the United States about these coins. It's just a very informative and helpful book. Tells you not only about the coins, but a little bit of the history of their use and the collectors that collected them. So that's a very good book, Penny Whimsy. Okay. Now, for those of you that like world coins, and I'm one of those guys that loves world coins as well. Again, don't pay attention to the year of issue. You can always go and find the latest issue, but it's going to cost you some bucks. It'll cost you quite a bit of money. But you can get an older issue. How about World Coins? The official guide, pretty much a standard 2007 catalog. You can get one that's within the last 3 or 4 years. And if you get them new, they're probably going to run you, I don't know, 60, 70, 80 bucks. But you can always go to stores like Half Price Books or a used bookstore and find them. And they will be pretty good in terms of researching and identifying any world coins that you may have. And also, for those of you that like to collect silver, it will help you identify where the silver issues came from, which countries, and so forth. So, this is a very good book I would recommend. I've got actually a couple of them that I've used in my library. Now, World Coins and Currency, there are special books that you can buy. Again, I bought this as a used book, and it not only deals with coins, it deals with special issues around the globe of the currency. We're talking about the paper bills. Some of these bills today are made out of like a mylar or a plastic, and they're very durable. And that's kind of surprising to me because I've always associated currency or bills with some type of linen cloth type paper. But in any case, I would recommend if you're into collecting world currency and coins, get these specialized books. It'll help you find the history and the details about what the coins are made up of and how many were issued. Now, since we've been on the currency kick, this is a book I picked up quite a while back. It's called The Red Book of United States Paper Currency or Paper Money. And it will help you identify all the valuable bills that are out there. It will help you identify the types of few errors that are available. But it's just a really good resource book, and it will highlight those that have the most value, which you might want to go after in your treasure hunts. Okay, so it's a United States paper money. And then there's a takeoff of this book, and I've got a little red dot on it. I bought this brand new, cost me a bit. This is called the Southern States Currency, and it gets into Civil War and bank issues. And so this is very interesting and helpful. This little red dot right here says that it's autographed by the author, Hugh Scholl, right there. You can see it right over here. Okay. I did bruise my hand if you saw that. As you get into many things like I get into, you're going to get bruises every now and then. And then here's another takeoff of the world paper currency, another reference book. Now, all these books I'm showing, you know, I go through them. I look when I get a new collection. If I buy a collection, I will sort through the collection and put things in different piles. Like this is from this country, this is from the United States, this is Civil War. And then I'll pull my reference books out as I go through these different currencies and coins to find out where the value is and what I can expect in terms of return on my investment. Because if you remember, my motto when I buy collections is keep the best and sell the rest. I was recently reminded by my brother and my nephew that that is my motto because I was wanting to sell a large part of a collection that we bought recently, my brother and I did. And they said, well, your motto was keep the best, sell the rest. Well, this we might ought to keep. And so they were shaming me into keeping some of that collection, but that's okay. That's as it should be. Now, this last coin is similar to the last book is similar to the first book that I showed you, but I like it a little bit better than the coin, the US coin, United States coins book I showed you, the red book. This is the Coin Digest, and it's 2013. Again, you can get a later edition than 2013. You get 2021, 22, 23. It will have the latest mintages of the coins minted after this and any errors that were identified. And perhaps I should get a new one because since 2013, there's been a lot of new errors discovered. So I'll put that on my things to do. But this is very, very helpful. Now, why am I saving this for last? Because it has a section in here, and I'm going to go to a different camera. Maybe I can show this a little better. It talks about the current error that we're going to be looking at. So let me change the cameras. Okay. And so what I've got here is, can we see this? Okay. We're looking at this nickel. Now, this nickel is not the error, okay? It is a broad struck. This nickel is not the coin we're going to look at. We're going to look at a penny, a cent, a Lincoln cent, but it's a representative of the error. And I apologize for it not being in focus. Let me see if I can get a little more light on it and get it to focus. Well, it doesn't look like it's going to cooperate. But what I'm going to do is read a small section from this book. And so it says collar striking varieties. The collar is often referred to as the third die and is involved in a number of forms of misstrikes. The collar normally rises around the planchet, preventing it from squeezing the coin from squeezing sideways between the hammer die and the anvil die, and at the same time forming the reading on the edge of the coin. So if the collar is out of position or tilted, a partial collar strike results. If the planchet is not entirely between the dies, an off-centered strike results. And if the collar doesn't rise up, then the metal of the planchet is free to flow outward. And so what we get are coins that look larger than they're supposed to because there was nothing restricting the coins. Now, what you see on the screen, and I've done this from a very instructive standpoint, this is a nickel. The nickel's not what we're looking at. What we're looking at is this 1996 broad struck, and it's an off-center broad struck because you can see there's more of the coin out this way. And you can see where the anvil die struck it and began to squeeze the coin, and the metal flowed outward, making the coin larger. This is a very, very interesting error to me. The thing that comes to mind is if the collar rises up around the planchet before it struck, what happened to cause that collar to be missing or not rising up? Because obviously when the anvil die struck, excuse me, the hammer die struck the planchet that was resting on the anvil die, there was nothing restricting the edges of the coin, so that metal flowed like water outward under the tremendous pressure that the minting presses transfer into and onto the planchet. So it's very interesting. Now I'm going to remove. The only reason why I put the nickel up here is you can tell that this coin, the penny, is actually bigger than the nickel. So you know that there's something that was drastically wrong in the minting of this penny, this 1996 penny. So I'll move the nickel so you get a better view of that penny. Here's a normal penny, just so you know. Let's see if we can get a view of that. Yeah, we can. You see the normal size of the penny is quite a bit smaller than the one that didn't have the collar rising up around it to restrict how far outward that metal flowed on the coin on your right, the off-centered broad struck coin. Don't you find this interesting? I think this is one of them that I'm going to send in to Annex to certify. Now, if you will bear with me, I'm going to share my screen right quick. Let's see, can we do that? Share right here. Okay, so what you should be seeing is the eBay store of the individual that I bought this coin from. I'd like to give a shout out to the seller, Dean Albone. This is his eBay store. I think that's pronounced Buddha Boo with a O, cap O on the end. He gave me a really good price on this error, and I'm very happy to give him a shout out and help him grow his eBay store. So if you guys are looking for some interesting coins or other things that he may have for sale, go ahead and give him a look. Hey, Dean, thanks for selling this coin to me in the price that you did. That was a real find for me, and I really appreciate that. But it is going into my permanent collection. So I'm going to stop the share again. We'll go back to the coin. So what we're looking at then is something that I will send in to Annex, and Annex will then identify the error. They will provide a grade on it. And you may say, how can they provide a grade on that? They're going to grade it with the error in mind. The issues where the actual copper plating has broken away under the pressure when it was not restricted by the collar, that's just part of the error. They're going to look at the fields and try to determine what grade it is, what MS state it is. Let me flip it over. It's really interesting on the reverse. Look at this. Isn't that gorgeous? Now, you can actually see that it was off center struck. This is a little bit bigger edge than that. And look up here. So the coin certainly was off center struck, but I love how the Lincoln Memorial is centered up in that coin, or almost centered up. And it's bright and shiny where the coin actually is kind of bringing the focus and the attention in on the Lincoln Memorial. What do you guys think? Have you found any broad-struck coins in your search? Did you order bags of coins from the mint and go through them? Did you happen to find something in your currency? I think it's a little bit more difficult to find a broad-struck coin in its own denomination rolls. This would not fit in a penny roll, but it could have fit in a quarter roll. Some people have actually found broad-struck coins in quarter rolls because it's not quite as large as a quarter, but it certainly would fit within the quarter roll. Now, somebody might say, well, I've been cheated because I didn't get 25 cents. I got a broad-struck 1 cent. Well, this coin right here, if we're going to put a denomination on it, a value, we're probably looking at $20, $30. And once it's certified, maybe a little more than that, because it's going to cost you a pretty penny to get it certified, probably as much as the coin's valued. Now, there are, and I will remind you, there are YouTube personalities that will say, don't send these types of coins in to get them certified because it's not worth it. Well, my point is, I'm a coin collector. I want to preserve the error in the most truest state that it was issued in. And the only way to do that really is to have it hermetically sealed in a coin slab. That means sealed off from the environment. And so I will send it in and pay the $20, $25 to get it certified and added to my collection because I don't plan on selling this. Now, if you're planning on selling it as a dealer, you will want to get them as cheap as you can, and then you're going to sell them for as much money as you can, whatever the market will bear. And so it wouldn't pay you to go ahead and have this slabbed. But in any case, give me your thoughts about what you think with respect to these broad-struck coins. Let me know if you're interested in them, and also let me know if you found anything like these. Okay, let me go back to the main camera, and we'll do the wrap up. I hope this episode was beneficial and informative to you. You can never have enough books. So, guys and gals, again, I hope this has been informative. You take care of yourself, and I look forward to hearing from you and to hear about what treasures that you have found when you're out there looking, because we all know if you're not looking, you're not finding. All the best. We'll see you in the next episode.